Hello everybody, once again welcome to our HTML and CSS course tutorial. Now our previous video, indeed, we talk about attributes. Okay, attributes, where I'll be leaving the link here at the top here where you guys can just go and take a recap of that. So that was my time. Now today I'd like us to look at something very interesting. Today's segment, I'd like us to just look at how to build a whole calculator for us to understand the basic concept of HTML and CSS. Now this is to make us to understand that all what we are learning is to become a web designer. So for so far so good, I want to introduce something to you guys so that you guys will understand what we are driving at. For instance, when you look at the screen, as you can see here, you can see that I have some interactive calculator here. Calculator is very interactive. For instance, when I click on 9 plus, okay, plus, let's say 2, and I click on an equal to sign, it will give me 11. How can we build a calculator using HTML and CSS? And that's what we'll be looking at. Without wasting my time, stay put and I'll be right back. Okay, so welcome back. Now how can we build it? Now before that wasting my time, I'd like us to dash straight to my folder. So as you can see, this is my folder. To follow us, you guys will understand our previous video. We learned about some series of course, some series of attribute, that is attribute, HTML element, saving an HTML file, and so on and so forth. Today's segment, first I'd like to create a folder and then name the folder calculator. So I'll right click, okay, and then click on new, and I'll click on folder. So in the folder, I'm going to call the folder calculator. Okay, calculator. So after doing that, now I'll just open my text editor, and then I'll then save my HTML file in the text editor. Okay, so what I will do is I will just go to open my Sublime text, and then click on file, and then go to save as. So when I go to save as, I need to specify the file location. So I'll go ahead, HTML, now select calculator, and I'll type index in the calculator folder I created. Index. The previous index, I did not bring the file extension, so let me take off this. Yeah, so let's go by say index and then dot HTML. Okay, then I'll click on save. That is the file extension. Then I'll go by do my doc declaration. So HTML, and press enter. So this is the doc declaration. But hey, because I want you guys to follow me one after the other, so let me take off all this so that you guys will get what I'm talking from, where I'm coming from. So you guys will get where I'm coming from. So let's begin again. So I'm going to write my first HTML. Go to HTML. Then I'll bring my header. Okay, so my header, and then in between here, I'll bring the close tag of my HTML, which is already there. Now in between my header, I'll bring my title. So what title do I want to give to this calculator I'm developing? So I'll call it cost calculator. Nice. Then after that, I'll just come straight to at the end of my header, press enter. Then I'll begin with my body. Okay, my body. Now in between my body, what I like to bring or comment or the attribute I want to use again is I want to begin with using form, because I want to use a form to build my calculator. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and bring the div container, my div container. So in my div container, I'll go ahead and bring something we call class. Okay, so class, and I'll use the attribute here. Nice. Then I'll go ahead and bring my form. Okay, my form, nicely, my form attribute, my form attribute. Now in my form attribute, I like to then call this form, give it a name. So the name I want to give to the form is, let's say, costs. Okay, costs, nicely. You can call it, there you can call it CAC. Okay, or you can call it cost. I want to call it cost. Okay, just wait a minute, I want to show you what I'm up to. So after calling it cost, then I have to do my inputs content, like where, like for instance, where when I click on, when I punch the like 1 2 3, or when I punch the alphabet, where I want it to display. So for instance, when I come here, so we are creating this very side, I mean that when you click on 9 8, like where it should display. Okay, so your display container, that's what we are creating now. So as we are creating that, I'll just go ahead and then bring, how do they call it, the inputs. Okay, my inputs. So in the input, I'll call the inputs type text. Okay, text. Then I'll call the name display. Display. Then after that, in the display, I'll go ahead and bring something like break, because I want a space in between whatever I'm doing. Okay, so it's going to be break. Okay, and I'll bring break again, nicely. So after bringing break, the next thing I'll do is now bring my input container. Before then, let's save this so you understand what I'm talking about. Now after saving this, guess what? And when I come to my folder and open my calculator folder and double click on my file, you can see, so this is what we've created, and then you can see it here. Let me zoom it. So you can see, so this is what we've created. I've seen it. So this is what we've created nicely. Okay, so anything, any punch is going to display in my input display. Okay, okay, so that's my kind of my text box input. So basically that is just that. And after that, let me just switch directly to my screen again. So as you can see, now after coding, I'm going to then bring, how they call it, my inputs kind of button. Okay, so in my input button, I'll go like inputs. Okay, so for you to understand, so I'll go like inputs again. So inputs, now input type, I'll call it button. Okay, button, and then inputs, instead of name here, I'll use value. Okay, value. Then I'll take this one off so that you guys get the concept. So then I'll call this value here 9. Okay, so on click, when the value is on click, like when we click on the value, I'll let the value should check out cost t or cost dot display. Okay, cost dot display dot value, okay, dot value I said, then plus, then I bring my equal to, I bring my quotes, and then bring my for my quotes. So in between the quotes I brought, I'll bring 9. Now let me explain this for you to understand what I'm saying. When I press the button 9, okay, when I press the button 9, like once click, it should display the 9 in the display box, which should display the 9 here. The 9 should be displayed here, okay. So that is the meaning of that. Now let's go back. So when I save this, save, okay, so to save it, you know what to do. You can hold it to Control plus X to save it. You can just click on File and click on Save. So when I'm done, I'll just come to my web page and then refresh. So you can see I have 9. So when I click on the 9, you see the 9 is displaying here. So that's the meaning of this code we wrote here. So input type bottom. So the bottom should be 9, which should be value, which is 9. Once we click that 9, it should display the 9 in the text box input display, where I name the text box input. Watch, I call it cost, okay, I call it cost, and I said text box input should be displayed. So I name it cost.display.value plus. So I call the value here. So when being pressed, it should display in my box like that, okay. So that's just that. Let's move on. The next thing. So the next thing is that for me not to waste my time and type, you can just highlight on this, okay. You highlight on this, you copy, then you press enter, you paste. So you do it like 4 times. So this I have 1, 2, 3, last one, and then I paste. So making 4. So what I'll do is I'll just come to this side and then change here to 8, and then change here to 7, and then change here to plus. So and then I'll come here, change it. Now once click, I want it to display 8. Once it has been clicked, display 7, and once it has been clicked, which is plus, display that. So you see, done. So I'm done with that. So I'll go ahead and bring break again. So because before then, let me show you something. So when we click on save, or you can just click on file here and then click on save. So the moment I save that and I come back to my page and then refresh, you see I have 9, 8, 7 and plus, which you should display, okay. So I want to bring the next bottoms here, so I want to break it so that to be a space in between. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll bring the break tag, which is BR for the break, and I'll go ahead and bring break again, like 2 breaks in each way. Then I'll continue, right? So for me not to just waste my time, I'll just highlight on this once, okay, then I'll copy, and then I'll paste. So what I'll do is I'll change here, change it to 6, and change here to 5, and then change here to 4, and then bring my minus. Okay, nice. So the same thing, once click, have my 6, have my 5, have my 4, and I have my minus. Nice. So you see, so after I'm done, might just click on file, and click on save. So you can see, so the moment I come to my browser and refresh, voila. So when I click 4, 5, that's to displaying. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. So what I'll do again is that I'll again go ahead, copy this again. Okay, after copying, I'll bring the mouse pointer to the endpoint, press enter, and then bring the break again. So BR for my break, and then repeat my break again so that there'll be a space in between whatever I'm doing nicely. So after bringing my break again, what I will do is as I just copy, I'm going to repeat that as in 4 times. So press enter, then I'll paste. So now after I'm done, I'll change this here, change it to 3, okay, 2, okay, 1, and then I'll bring my times. So that's it. Okay, so I'll go ahead, come to this side, and I change it to 3, then change it to, let's say, 2. Once click, okay, should display 2, and then here will be 1. Then the last one here will be times. Okay, so done. Cool is that. Then the next thing I'll be doing, you know, it's the same routine. So let's do the last one. Okay, so I'll bring break, BR, then break again. The break give a space between, I mean, your attributes. So I'll save it. So just click on file and save. Then after that, press enter again and paste. So that's the last one. After that, we're going to work on the delete. Okay, the delete button. So now after we are done here, now here's going to be 0, okay, and here will be slash, as I did that like a division, and here will be my percentage, okay, and I'll do here equal to, but the equal to sign, we are going to echo it. I'll show you how to echo the equal to sign. So here I change it to 0. Once click, it should display 0. Once click, display slash. Once click, I want to display the percentage. Now let's come to the equal to sign. Now the equal to sign, for instance, because we want equals, you should display what appears before. Like for instance, when I come to this side and then I come to the original calculator that I created and I click on delete. Now what we are going to echo is that when I press 9 and I come and press, let's say 9 plus, okay, like 1, and I click on equal to. Now the equal to simply means that I'm going to echo it I'm going to write a code by echoing, by saying that the first value that I have pressed and the third value, okay, should respond to the last value. Add both together for me to get the result. So it's going to give me 10. Some of it is, are you going to use the if statement in JavaScript? No, as I said, we are looking at HTML and CSS. We are going to use CSS to just do this. Okay, so now after this has been done, what I'll do is that I'll just, as you've understood this, let's go back to my code, and then you guys will understand what I'm talking about. So now as I've bring the button, which is the value, how do you call it, equal to, once it's being clicked, I like you to display this. So here I'll take off this here, so do what I just did like this nicely. Then after that, I'll take off space equal to, then I'll bring my elements nicely, then space into bracket, then I'll go ahead and say cost, okay, cost dot display, okay, cost dot display dot value, okay, dot value. Then I'll say, I'll close my bracket and bring my quotes, okay, my quotes there nicely. So one quote. Then after that, it's done. So mine is to just save. Okay, so save. So to save, as I said, I can always go to plus S to save. Click on file, or you can click on file and click on save, any which way. So after I'm done, let me go to my browser for you to see the result. So this is the browser. So when I just refresh, check. So when I go 9 plus 1 is equal to, you see, let's do it again. Let me refresh. 9 plus 1. Okay, I made a mistake in the code. Let's try and see something. So the mistake I made was, here was 1, okay, and I said it should display 1, so let me take it off. So 1. Okay, so you also have to watch that and then correct that. So let me save it again, and then go back to my browser and then refresh. So after I've refreshed now, so we have 9 plus 1. The moment I click on equals to, it's giving me 10. So I can do 4. Okay, let me refresh it again. I can go like 4 minus 2. When I click on OK or equal to, it's give me 2. So I can go again. So anyway, so that is what we just did here by echoing. So we just echo. Now let's work on the deletes. Now when you watch very carefully, one look at here, you can see that the delete here is the last thing that we brought here. So we need to then delete. When I click on delete, it should clear. So we are going to then also write a code by saying that once click, it should clear off the display. Okay, so basically that is just that. So we just put a quote there. It should just show. Let me show you how that is being done. So when you go back to your source code or your code, the text editor, you go ahead and bring the break sign. Okay, BR. Now you know the break sign already. So again, BR for the break sign. As a break. Now in between the break, we'll go ahead and bring and add to the inputs. Okay, so inputs, now I'll call the type button. Okay, then I'll change the name to value. Okay, so value, then in the value I'll call it delete. Okay, then after done, then I'll come here. Let me highlight this so that you guys will understand. Then I'll change by, so once click. Okay, once click, I like you to display cost dot display dot value. Okay, then equals to, then bring my quotes. Now we are not done, so I'm going to, because I wanted to expand the deletes here, like this very deletes, let me show you the way I expand this. I want to call it an ID, where I want to give it an ID where I'm going to call that ID in the CSS. Okay, so let's look at that. So I'll put my cursor here, then I'll go ID. So in the ID, then I'll go by saying quote. Okay, I bring the quote and I'll call it because it's delete, let me just do it del, DELL. I'll be fine, del, or delete energy. So del, let me call it del. Okay, so I'm calling it del. I don't want to do some case sensitive, so that will not do it. So del, DELL, that'll be fine. So when I'm done, I just click on file and then click on save. So voila, I'm done. Done. So as I'm done here, what I will go ahead to do is that I just have to go ahead and then save it. And after I save it, I'll come back and show you guys what we can do here. Okay, ready? Okay, so let's just, by the way, let's move on. So go ahead and save this. So the moment you come to your browser, just refresh it and everything is in place. So when I type 5555 and I click on my delete, it's supposed to delete for me 1, and I press my delete, it's supposed to delete 4, I press my delete, it's supposed to delete. So when it comes to, let's say 7 minus 4, it's supposed to give me equal to, give me 3. So now our calculator is more or less interactive now. Okay, so our next that's all for today. Our next kind of tutorial, we are going to look at how to use CSS to enhance the calculator. Okay, catch you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.